Hello. It's good seeing you. Again, I just want to say this video that I'm making is just a brief message of just, being able to incorporate what my thoughts are. There is no part of my journey where I'm never fully satisfied with my progress or completely confident where I'm going, and that's why it's always difficult just to kind of grasp in what you're wanting out of your life, but it just makes sense. Again, this isn't a bad video. It's not supposed to be, funny, but then again, I just want to, take this opportunity now to really talk to you as a friend, and just to say, what I truly think about the things surrounding me. This is probably going to be the final video that I'll ever post for the year of 2020. I know it's been one heck of a ride, and I'm kind of glad that you all really stuck in with it, as hard as it might have been for some of us, and for others not so much. Again, this is something out of my comfort zone, and I'm having a hard time thinking about what I want to say right now, but I just want to, since I now have a selective audience, a very small audience, but it's still an audience, or at least a group of people, that I really want to call friends. I mean, I just want to say, I just want you guys to get a chance to know, who I am, who I've started out as, and how far I've come, and how much farther I want to go. I want to take this time now to just communicate with you guys, to really just share my voice like you've all been promoting and saying, and just, to know that, everybody has thoughts, and everybody's thoughts matter. There again, I have days where I just get really confused, and I never really know how to handle certain things. Now, just keep in mind as you're watching this video, these are just internal thoughts that I've had, over the past year, and that doesn't mean that my opinions are right or wrong or better than what you might think or what I might think. This is just the type of video that I want to send out to you guys so that you can better connect with me and I can better connect with you, so you guys get a sense of, what I really want, what are my goals and stuff, what have I accomplished, yada yada and so on and so forth. I didn't want to script this too much because I want to exercise my will to speak and to be able to exercise and, uplift people, not necessarily tear people down as, the media has overall, but just to, help everyone grow. So that's why I'm just going to keep everything real short, and I don't want you having to worry about, if I say something, then if it differs from what you think, then it's wrong. No, it's not. This is just my thoughts, and, this is the moment where I just want to, share this with you, and you don't have to agree with anything that I say. So this video is mainly just going to be about thoughts that I've had over the past couple of months, just to kind of calibrate with what's been going on around as a society as a whole. But know that anything that I say you do not have to agree with. These are just my opinions, and therefore they don't prove if my side of visions is right, or if your side is better. It doesn't matter. I mean, the community that I want to raise is where we can all come together as a collective whole and to really bring things out. So that's what the purpose of this video is about, and I hope you enjoy learning something, hopefully off of me, for as well as much as I want to be a great influencer and teacher to so many people. Although, as heartbreaking as it is, I'm not going to get to everybody, but that's okay. As long as I get to as many people as I possibly can, that's all I really care about. I mean, as much as I wanted to be this big celebrity, or, this big guy on TV, or this, video game creator, or whatever, it takes a lot of work and it takes patience. So, I have a challenge for you guys. I encourage you to, not that you have to, but I know we all have that drive to want to get better. I'm sure we all do. So, my challenge for you is to try and ask yourself as many questions as you possibly can. What do you want to do? What really gets your mind flowing? What really, makes you just want to live to the next day? Because I realize that now, just because the fact that, at least from what I've seen, we've become such a world where we're so stuck in wanting to like get all this attention, but yet we take away from really what do we want to do, what do we want to accomplish. You know, actually, Alana brought up this really good video of, I don't even know who like the person is, but she held 2 canisters of applesauce together. One was a little go-go squeeze, I think, you know, where you squeeze it into your mouth, and the other one was actually a big can. And the majority of people go for the go-go squeeze because it's easy, and therefore that's how we feed off of life, where you'd rather have that than the actual large value of thing where it's going to give you so much more than this little go-go squeeze. So that's another thing I want to incorporate. Also, there's this other example that I learned from, I mean, not from one of my college professors, but from a college professor on the internet. So have you guys heard about this jar where you can stuff golf balls, rocks, sand, and coffee in it? So I'll like explain that a little bit. Have you guys heard of this theory that my dog's coming in. Hi, Tiara. How are you? Tiara, come here. Come on. Come on, I'm gonna lift you up. Okay? Come on. Whee! Oh, it's okay. It's okay. All right. So this is my dog Tiara. So I've never done this with her before, so she's probably really scared, but it's okay. I got you. I got you. It's okay. But anyway, you know, not very many people know who Tiara is, but the fact is that since she brings joy to this family, you know, that makes her a very valuable part of the family. And that's what, you know, okay, I'll put you down. Sorry about that. All right, good girl. Good girl. Okay. So I don't know why I did that. Good girl, Tiara. Good girl. Okay. But anyway, I'm just saying, you know, I'd rather be a small source of happiness for those who really want my type of joy and entertainment because, again, that's something I already enjoy, so that's the type of thing I want to share. I'd rather do that than have to worry about, you know, conforming with what everybody else is doing, because I'm just sick of it. I mean, and don't let this alarm, I mean, it should alarm you, but then again, it shouldn't, you know, enrage you. It shouldn't get you mad, because, you know, we're all different, that's okay, but, you know, just saying, because the reason why I'm saying this is because I want you to, like, know that I think it applies to you as, like, to the viewer, to you as well. So, be what you want to be. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing, because it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't, you know, I'm just saying, because you should use outside sources to help, like, gain knowledge, but make your own decisions, as say. Now, there are like some rules, I guess I should say, to where, you know, if you feel it's right, if you feel this is like, I gotta do this, or I know this is gonna be for a good cause, then go for it. Because you never know what doors you're gonna unlock, or what people you're gonna meet, or what amazing things you might accomplish. You might discover a whole nother part of yourself that you never have. And I think that's the most exciting part about living, is because you start off in a certain system, and then as you get older and older and older, things become more flexible, and you get greater things, which I find, you know, a lot of fun. So just analyze yourself a little bit, and just take those small steps to greatness. So back onto the jar theory. So a professor said a professor filled golf balls into a jar, and he said, "Okay, class, is the glass full? Yes or no?" Then he put rocks in. Is the jar full? Yes or no? Then sand. Then no, I'm just making this short. It wasn't this fast, but sand, and then coffee. You know, and then each of these things represented different things in our lives. So the golf balls represent the core elements we need in our lives, such as food, clothing, shelter, sleep, you know, yada yada, education. The rocks represent the secondary things, you know, such as like playing a sport, you know, or, you know, singing and stuff like that, that help you, but you don't really need to rely on to like live. And then the sand is everything extra, and then the coffee, you'll always have time to spend it with friends. So that was another concept that I really liked, because it helps me focus a little bit. So I would say, you know, for example, this channel and anything that I post, I would consider a rock. It's something I enjoy doing, but therefore I don't need it to survive. I could delete this channel tomorrow, and I'll still be me. In fact, I could delete all my social media, every, you know, thing that I liked or anything, or, you know, even, I don't know what else to like delete, but I'm just saying I could remove all of that, you know, and still have myself and people I can call friends. So don't get so caught up if you only have a couple of followers, because if you only had, like, for example, so my sub count's 86 right now. If I have 86 engaged people, over 1,000 people who just click the sub button once and never see me again, that's still way more impactful than having all those followers. But yet again, you can have a million friends who are as impactful as those 86. I'm just gonna ramble on some things, and if you wanna like skip around, you know, reflect, pause, do whatever. You need to do whatever is best for you and not necessarily for the person giving this out. This is the opportunity to where if you want to check out my stuff, and you clicked on this video because you wanted to know what my thoughts were, so therefore, here's our opportunity to like connect with each other. So, anyway, so now, again, I'm only one person, so you're probably not going to agree with everything that I say, and that's okay. Your thoughts matter, but I'm going to share mine real quick. So, this is my take on the world epidemics. So, we all know this thing called COVID-19, right? Yeah, well, I'm glad to be the first. But anyway, so, again, another global pandemic that's affected us since March. Then again, it depends on how we handle the situation. So for something as impactful as that, I know for a fact that not only one person can handle that kind of thing alone. You know, and I'm no medical person, I'm no doctor or anything, I'm barely even 20 yet. So I know very little about this stuff, but I can say, you know, for some it's impacted millions, you know, or I should say it's impacted us a lot, and for others, not so much. Now, in my case, in my personal case, 2020 has been like every other year, because I've struggled as much as, you know, or I should say, I feel like in my mind more than anybody else ever has, because I've had to deal with these extra things, such as how do I talk to people? How am I able to share common interests? How do I even do this or that? Because I wasn't able to exercise that when I was growing up in school. And that's one of the things that I fear I'm missing out on, because I never got to make those connections, because I always felt like I was too much of an outcast and no one would ever want to be friends with me. Because I didn't really know how to start those conversations, and therefore, you know, that's why I get so, like, whenever people see me in public, I get so insecure about that, because I don't know how they're gonna react to me, because here again, I'm developing something that no one's ever done before, and I have no idea how anybody's gonna react to it. So that's what always really gets me down, because I never know what the outcome's gonna be, and it never usually turns out the way I expect it to. Almost never. Which is ironic, you know? So, you know, I would say the most important thing, now, we can just round this up around YouTube, and we can just start there, because maybe this will just be a YouTube video, it could be on a different platform, I don't know. But anything that you do, social media is supposed to help promote in a good way. And I think it's become so far from that. You know, I think people have just lost that inner, you know, confidence of just wanting what they want out of themselves, and they feel like they have to fit in with everybody in order to be liked, which isn't always the case. I'm telling you. Again, go with your gut. Don't worry about it. Sometimes you need to take those breaks to really analyze what you want to do, how to do it, and everything. But then again, it's not a big problem. Just take one day at a time. So anyway, I want to apologize if I'm rambling on too much, but anyway, so I do have some notes that I have written down, and I'm going to try to go part by part, so that way my conversation is a little bit more organized, since I'm just kind of rambling on. I don't talk like this much. I'm not used to talking. So this is a really, 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 really big step for me. So be patient with me, okay? But anyway, so my first point was just on the whole world epidemic. So I might have talked about COVID already. So COVID's a disease, you know, and we've been through many diseases before. So there are people out there who I guarantee you will figure this out eventually. So what the rest of us might need to do is at least analyze, you know, what's going on around us, and maybe just to say, well, you know, I might not agree with what they're doing, but if I come to terms with that this is what I want, then these are the actions I'm going to take. So let me put this here. I guarantee you that there's not one person who wouldn't want to be accepted for who they are, just by what they're doing. So if that branches down, then just know that when you're accepted as who you are, then that means you get to do the things that you want to do. So therefore, if there's some type of force stopping that, then of course it's going to deteriorate your mind, because you now have this conflict you have to deal with. Which I think, COVID's only a small part of what's actually going around. The media is only a small chunk of reality. It's not our entire world. So just know that, as weird as this might sound, coming from some guy you met on YouTube, or maybe in real life, you probably know me from beforehand. I don't know who's on the other side of this camera, but I hope it's somebody. And I hope to be reaching out to somebody. But if not, then that's fine. But just know, there's still hope. There's still hope. For as bad as things have gotten, I don't care if you got sick, or if you couldn't do school, you couldn't do work, or you couldn't do this, you couldn't meet somebody, or even if you lost your entire family and you're the only one of your kind left. You still have hope. So don't give up so soon, because this is a moment that I believe we're being tested on. We're being tested on our patience and our faith. So, again, this is really deep. I hope that this impacts you in a good way and not a way of, oh, great, But here's another thing to go off of. So, BLM. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else. But anyway, going off of that, I would say, if you have one group that is in this life, has been raised a certain way, they look a certain way, and they feel a certain way, then they have those actions. And then maybe somebody else has a completely different set. Now again, do I really like talking about this? I mean, not entirely. Am I into this stuff? Not really. But as I get older, I kind of realize, well, how do I make those connections? Well, I look at their values and what they want to do out of life and compare it to mine. And if there's some type of connection, then that's where you make the connection. That's where you make the friendship. Again, I know this is really, really complicated, and I can't speak for everybody on the planet, but I'm going to speak to as many people as I possibly can, because I want to share something valuable. Not just something that's going to get thrown away in like a couple weeks. So, know that you will come across these types of messages when it is your time, and that if there's something that I say you don't understand, then save the video, watch it again, and maybe you will. Because sometimes, since we're all on these different levels of life, maybe there's that some type of connection, or there's this thing where it's like you're in a certain point in your life to maybe you don't know what's up here yet, so you're going off of what you have down here. But as you go up those steps, you're like, oh, I kind of get this now. It makes sense, and then you're able to apply that to what you already know, as a learner, and then be able to go off of that. One of the big things I like about America is that we have differences. We're not all the same. And I guess I've been on both sides of whether that's a good thing or not, but there are definitely some great things to point out. Just because of the fact that you learn off of someone who's completely different from you rather than someone who's the exact same. So, and it's harder to get along with someone who's completely different from you over someone who's, has the same ideas. So, if you're ever someone like me who wants to get to know the world better and just have a common sense of what's actually going on, rather than being in like a fantasy world that I've been able to make up to keep myself happy, because then again, I made this like, the stuff you see is stuff I've created within my mind, that are coming from my thoughts, and I've been able to apply that to, acting out verbally, animating stuff with my body and seeing it on screen. Those were things that went on in my head based on real life experiences. But I mean, the stories are made up. I mean, those aren't real. But I mean, based on what I've come across in real life, that's what inspired all these ELKF shorts. That's what they're called right now. They're like the short videos. And then gaming. I mean, I've always liked playing video games. And then the newest category I have is music, which I'm a singer as well. I'm hopefully you guys get to see that soon. But I'm a singer as well. So I mean, that's another thing that hopefully I get to share with you guys, whether it's here on screen or in the real world. But then again, I mean, that's going to take it takes a lot of practice. I mean, I've had a lot of great musical experiences too, but then again, it's still going to take a long time. So here's another thing too. So there are a lot of things, like we all have this thing called the past, the present, and the future. The past is kind of what molded us to the person we are now. But it's not something we should rely on because it's the past. It doesn't exist anymore. Even though we have tons of memories and videos from the past, use those to either look back and make enjoyment of yourself, or use that as a reflection to make yourself better later. The future is what you're looking towards to make wherever you are now, whatever you're doing here at this very moment, better for later. And then the present is where we are today. So in my case, I don't know. So right now I'm in my present, and I want to hope, so let's just say, right now, my present is the last week of 2020. I want to make 2021 better than this year does. And I know for a fact I am not the only one who has that same goal in mind. So I encourage that on you guys to make that a priority. So again, if you ever feel down in the dumps, like, oh, where do I go? Where do I turn? I can't comprehend this thing because it's just so frustrating. I don't know what I should do because it's like I only have so many choices. I have to do this in order to get the most out of it, but then again, all these other things, it's like they're not gonna work. So therefore, if this doesn't work, then it's gonna totally backfire. Well, not necessarily. If you try your best to stick with this way, but it blows, there's always no solution. The important thing is that you keep moving forward. So anyway, now I'll talk about my personal progress. So I've done tons of college academic courses after I graduated from high school a couple, years ago. And then again, I didn't have the best high school experience, and therefore I kind of wish I would have done things differently, or I wish I would have had more confidence, but I can't go back. It is what it is. So right now, I'm making the best out of what I can do for the future. So right now, I've had, let's see, I'm just going to summarize what I've done in the year of 2020. So I've had the awesome opportunity to get involved in, some singing opportunities, dancing opportunities. So, for example, I take voice lessons. I've, sung in a concert choir, and I've done many, many performances, and also, we're just talking about the arches, so that way it's not like, So anyway, I was a singer. I took vocal lessons, and I sung the choirs, and I cantor at my church. So I used my voice, my singing voice, to bring happiness. And then also I got to help out too. So, I don't know if I should say this now, but I have autism. So I got myself involved with 2 autistic groups. Both are going very well, by the way, to where one of the leaders knew me very well since I was in elementary school. So therefore, it's like I get all these new friends and all these new opportunities, and I'm able to just connect with as many people as I possibly can, just to kind of make up for the stuff I didn't get to do before. It's like I'm finally in that healing process to where I can now come to terms to what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and everything. The other autistic group we just met virtually because, they started this year, so I haven't got to meet them in person, but they're great people. I was also a student assistant for my dance studio back in the spring, and then during the summer recital, I got to help 2 different classes learn dance routines. Therefore, I'm not the best with memory, but then again, once you take practice and you get familiar with it, then it just gets better and better and better. Alright, well anyway, so the best highlights I'd say overall for the entire year were my radio and TV experiences. So, for my radio experiences, I got to do production stuff. So what that is that you have a studio, I guess, and I get to record my voice and share a message, and then add music and sound effects, and overall, I think it's been a blast. I'm like one of the best people there, I don't mean to brag, but I am. My director is very pleased with my work. I, go above and beyond with it. I have playlists of them linked on this channel. So you should be able to find them. Go listen to them. Knock yourself out. Get inspired. Take my idea to the next level. Can you do better than me? We'll see. The other two departments I joined, well, let's see. In the spring, I did social media, which isn't really my thing. I'm terrible with social media. So I appreciate Alana with helping me out, organize that over the past couple of months. I mean, just don't trust anything I really have just at the moment because it's just all kabobbled and weird. But that's what I was doing. I was doing promotions. So then this past fall, I did entertainment, which I got to talk about movies, celebrities, games, yada yada, you name it, anything, where it all aired and everything, and then I got to update on the weather. Now, with all of this, I got to really work on my voice, my confidence, and being able to deliver messages effectively and efficiently. And I think, now that I'm talking now, I'm improving that area a whole lot. So I know that sounds very slim, but then again, it occupied my time and I was able to really improve on one of my personal factors. Now, on ZTV, I was in two different teams. So the first one was Goofing Off. So Goofing Off is based on like movies, games, anime, all that fun stuff. Kind of like entertainment, but different. So I reviewed video games for Wii Ventures. I reviewed 6 Wii games. I think I have a reaction video coming out for that. If it is not already, I don't know. But anyway, I got to review different video games, and then I also got to do ZTV Akron After Hours, which is a sketch comedy-based show. And both of those required a lot of work, but hey, once you put a lot of hard work into something, it will turn out great. Whether you're painting a picture or putting an image, putting a castle together, it doesn't matter. You're sculpting a house. If you take the time to really get to know someone and be able to really connect with them and then, find opportunities to spend time with them and get to know them better, that's going to make that better. So my basic message is just spend time on the things that matter most and improve on what you need, and then let those things take time. Things like this take time. Another thing is that I'm kind of confused on what major I want to do for college. I was originally doing computer information systems, but then again, since it was a field I didn't know much about, it's because I just wanted to know the basics of computers. But then again, I think, I was struggling in just those courses alone to where they just started getting overwhelming, and I was like, this isn't my thing. But then again, I want to rise up to the challenge and be able to do that, but if there's something better for me, I'm trying to explore that first. And then, certificate in it maybe. But I don't know. Something along those lines I think will be good. I released a First Thoughts of 2020 video back in January of this month. I encourage you to watch that as well, just so you can see how much better my message effectiveness has been given out. Just because I think it'd be really cool if you saw me at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Alright, well, also, one additional announcement I want to make is that, I also have another channel that I do with my 3 cousins and Alana, of course. It's weird. Okay, so it's called Oh the Places We Go, but it's abbreviated as OTPOG. In other cases, OTPWG. OTPOG. If you can't find it, I can leave a link in the description below, but it's out there, and I think you guys should check it out because, even my little cousins have a passion in making videos too, so I just want to be able to help them out and get better, so when they become my age, they'll be so much more advanced than I ever could have been. So I think that's enough about the past for now, and, what I want to, where I'm at now. I mean, I'm at the point now where we're kind of at a break, but I want to keep going because I don't feel like I'm doing enough. And I know many of us have probably had that feeling before, because now I'm discovering all of these other people who are so more advanced than I am, and I just get, anytime I see like a 17-year-old TikToker celebrity, or someone who has been able to do this, go on a big stage and do that, it's like, I have catching up to do, because it's like, I want to be this big thing when I'm an adult, but it's like, I have so much more catching up to do, because it's like I have so many things I haven't figured out yet, and it's stressful. It is, and I promise nothing's ever easy. Don't believe anybody who makes things look easy, because you I don't know, I'm like losing breath and losing words, but if you have that motivation to get it done, you will get it done. So don't let anything that anybody puts out there discard you from wanting to do your thing that matters. This year, I've learned patience and hard work and diligence. I can't really speak for the people who have been affected by COVID severely, besides the fact that I got to quarantine in here for a week because I was, around people when filming, but that's besides the point. Again, it was a learning experience that I wish I never experienced, and therefore, I should say, I'm kind of used to the isolation thing. I wish I was more of an extrovert, and I really want to be an extrovert, but I think I was born and raised an introvert, but I want to be the big extrovert one day. But anyway, so I've also learned how to time manage. So a thing that I've really been hard on in the past was scheduling. I wasn't able to figure out how to do time for this or how to do time for that, or let alone just know, what I'm supposed to do with my day. How do people get to this thing so fast? Like, for example, Snapchat, how you're able to see things for 24 hours. People put a lot of stuff on there, and I think before this year, people were all over the place and stuff, and I was like, how do they do that so fast? It was within 24 hours. People are always going everywhere, and I never understood it. It's like, how do you guys have time for that, but yet do all this other stuff too? And it took some time. Well, it's like, maybe it's because they drive. Maybe it's because they're able to hook up easily, or maybe it's because they already know what they want to do and they have goals. I don't know. I want to know, but I don't know. And it's weird, and that's what's been making me really insane, because I don't know how to comprehend that yet, but I should, because I'm gonna be, I don't know if I should reveal my age, but I'm at an age where I've already graduated high school, and I'm in my college years now, but it's like I'm so behind in life, and it's very frustrating. I feel, I'm young, but I feel like I'm running out of time. It's really messed up for me. But anyway, what else? Oh yeah, so for example, age is just a number. The year itself is just a number. Just know that right now, I don't know what it's like to live outside of my own home, besides vacations and going like my grandma's or, anything like that. But I've never had a college dorm, and I doubt I will. I doubt I ever will. So, that's not as bad as like your graduation or your 18th birthday being affected, but still it's something that, like a segment that's been taken out to where I don't really get to experience it. But then again, how do I go from that? I just make the best of what I've got, and sometimes that's the best you can do. And if you're doing the best you can do, that's all anybody can ever ask for. So if you're doing things every day, don't put yourself down. You're doing great. So for next year, I expect that we continue to work as a team to listen to each other, to better understand what the real picture is, not the comfortable, pretty cats and rainbows, here we are, this is what TV's saying, this is what the media's saying, what we're seeing. No. I'm saying we need to really, really think. We need to really actually just take a moment to actually connect with each other. And I know that's been hard. It's been hard for me, and that's why it's like, it's just weird, because I never, ever got to really be best friends with anybody, and it's just, or I should say, I'm never going to be able to say that I've had best friends in high school. One day when I become a dad or have kids, it's like, what do I tell them? What do I tell them that I did this year? I don't know. I follow the rules. I did my schoolwork. I did all this stuff, but I don't understand what is it I need to be doing in order to fully feel happiness. But then I think again, well, maybe it's because I need to really think what makes me happy. What am I doing to make myself better? What am I doing to move forward? Not necessarily on, I need to do this because it makes me feel good. What do I want to get out of life? What do I want to do? Just like, what do you want to do out of your life? What values do you have that you want to share with the world right now, because it matters so much in your heart, and for a fact that once you get it out there, it's going to impact so many people, and it's going to make everyone so much greater, because your ideas and your thoughts and you as a person exist. Yeah. Well, anyway, I expect that next year that we reflect and just make each other better and make ourselves better. That's all I can really ask for. And, No, and don't just make it 2021 goals, make it 2022 goals. If there's something you don't accomplish within the next year, make it the year following goals. Just keep going until you get there. Don't give up. Because if you give up, that's where you really lose everything. I should say this. You're not finished if you lose or something doesn't work out. You are finished if you quit. And if you quit, that's when it's over. But if you keep going, then you're still in the game. You still have energy left. And you can knock over any barricade that you have. So, wherever you are in your life, whatever you're doing, whatever might be bothering you, whatever connections you have, or if any connections, just hang tight. Because we all live together. We all have some type of connection, as in we want to achieve things. We want to make the world better. We want to be able to apply our talents, our creativity, our thoughts, our traits, where we're raised, all of that into something that people are going to remember. I think that, or at least me, I can't speak for you as much as I want to help speak for you. I don't know what you're thinking, but what I'm thinking is that that's what I want to accommodate in life. So, I'd rather have those small memories that bring a smile to your face rather than, that good hormonic feeling, I want more of those. And I hope you do too. But anyway, I want to thank you anyway for helping me on this journey, I guess, so far. And I hope I didn't scare you or anything. I just wanted to wake some eyes up. And let me just say, I want to wake your eyes up. I want to help you become a better person. And the way I can do that is by sharing my qualities. And hopefully you're able to share yours too. So just know that's all I want to do, and everything else, you can listen and think about. But, you have a brain, you have a heart, you have a soul, you have everything you need. Just take that first step. Anyway, I'll see you in 2021. Thank you so much.